Hello everyone, this is Fine from Tech Gaming Villa. Today I'm going to talk about the Sony Bravia X80K and the Sony Bravia X90K. You see the two TV, the left side is Sony X80K and the right side is Sony Bravia X90K. The Sony X80K is a mid-range LED TV, one of the most affordable Sony offerings of the year. Its respectable performance and budget-friendly price tag will please plenty of shoppers, especially those who are upgrading to 4K for the first time, but there are better options available for folks with more specific needs. Despite the limitations dictated by its relatively low price, the X80K has a lot going for it. An accurate out-of-the-box picture, a fast, user-friendly smart platforms, and an easy to set up design. But while some concessions are expected in this price range, the X80K fails some tests that other TVs do not. There are almost no next-gen gaming features to speak of, and contrast and panel uniformity suffer from a lack of local dimming. For most people, the X80K is a safe pick. That said, if you are looking for a gaming TV or one of the showcases HDR content, you owe it to yourself to look at the X80K's competition, including Samsung Q60B and TCL's 5 series. The X80K is available in 6 sizes ranging from 43 inches all the way up to 85 inches. The 48 inches price is $550, 50 inch price $650, 55 inch X80K $700, 65 inch X80K $850, 75 inch X80K $1200, and the 85 inch X80K $1800, which is cheap, I will say. I don't expect there to be much of a performance gap between differently sized TVs belonging to the same series. It's possible that X80K's panel type might vary depending on size. When it comes to performance, different panel types offer competing strengths and weaknesses. Unfortunately, Sony doesn't disclose panel types for its LED TVs, though it's possible to identify panel type by examining the display's pixel structure. The X80K offers a standard set of connectivity options, including 4 HDMI ports, but gamers and dedicated AV enthusiasts should note that the TV does not feature a single HDMI 2.1 port capable of displaying 4K content at 120 Hz. This TV received the latest firmware updates at the time of testing. For both HDR and HDR tests, X80K's custom picture mode setting because of its accuracy, but performance may vary depending on which picture mode is enabled. For example, you might experience a brighter picture with different settings enabled, but it may interfere with color temperature and overall color accuracy. To get a sense of TV's average performance, I use a standard ANSI checkerboard patterns for most of the basic contrast tests. The peak brightness measurements you see with sustained windows to represent the TV's peak brightness over a sustained period of time. During testings, the X80K's color temperature was set to expert 1 for HDR test. The TV's brightness and gamma sliders were kept at their default position. In addition, the advanced contrast enhancer, black adjust, and live color settings were all disabled. For clarity-related settings, sharpness was kept at its default position. Random noise reduction and digital noise reduction were kept off. Lastly, motion flow and film mode were disabled. X80K may lack some of the advanced display hardware I have seen in recent years, but despite its limitations, it sports an impressive out-of-the-box picture. In other words, if you are a set it and forget it type of viewer with no calibration aspirations, the X80K is a worthy companion. In its most accurate picture mode, the X80K shows off rich, realistic-looking color thanks in part of its Luminous Pro color enhancement technologies, Sony's take on quantum dots. The TV covers about 87% of the HDR color gamma TC83. For HDR content, that is enable cable broadcast and lot of the content you will see on streaming platforms. The X80K gets the job done. Unless your living room gets a ton of sunlight, it will hold up well during daytime viewing. I am also impressed by the X80K's HDR performance. Despite its shallow black levels and limited brightness, all of the HDR10 and Dolby Vision content I watched looked quite good. You won't get the sort of eye-popping depth that comes with a mini LED TV or an OLED TV, but the X80K has an eerie ability to look better than its hardware and performance specifications would indicate. For example, there's not much of a difference between the X80K's HDR and SDR peak brightness levels in this measurement, but there's a noticeable difference in how its HDR highlights look during actual viewing. At one point, while watching this demo, you see the same highlights on the Samsung Q60B, a direct competitor of the X80K, looked less impressive despite the Q60B's brighter screen. To be clear, neither X80K nor the Q60B is the TV to buy. If you really want to see what all the HDR fuss is all about, that said, X80K does more with its mid-range hardware than Samsung, and I suspect that has to do with Sony's image processing. Given its superior full-field brightness in both SDR and HDR, the Samsung Q60B is a better brightroom option than X80K, but it's sort of stunning how much Sony is able to elevate that direct lit display with no local dimming. The Sony X80K isn't an ideal choice for a darkroom beam. Its shallow black levels, which settle around 0.2 to 0.3 nits during most content, limit shadow detail, and the panel casts a grayish-blue glow over scenes that take place in the dark. Sequences in a space, for instance, look more blue than black. The culprit is primarily the TV's lack of local dimming, which severely limits the X80K's contrast control. There's also significant light bleed in the bottom corners of the panel, which is noticeable during dark scenes, credits, sequences, and while browsing certain apps interfaces. Even from a direct head-on angle, clouds of light are easily detectable on the bottom of the display. When content is bright, the X80K does a workmanlike job of limiting the damage of its shallow black levels. But once a scene gets dark, all bets are off. As much as I appreciate the TV's ability to produce a clear, colorful picture with limited hardware, the Samsung Q60B is probably the better choice for cinephiles. The Q60B is also limited in its display hardware, but its black levels are much deeper and it isn't saddled with uniformity issues during dark content. But if I compare it with Sony X90K, X90K is a full array local dimming TV. It has local dimming options. It's a superior TV compared to X80K and Samsung Q60B. X90K is great for SDR and HDR. Also, it's great for those who love movie lovers and cinephiles. And it has lots of gaming features as well. You know, X80K has not HDMI 2.1 or does not support 4K 120 Hz on gaming, but X90K supports 4K 120 Hz on gaming, and the latest firmware confirms that you can enable a local dimming with VRR as well. Sony, unlikely some of the other big manufacturers, actually provide a USB 3.0 port in most of their TVs. Even the most low-cost ones. Usually manufacturers don't seem very fond of using the newer USB ports and rely mostly on the archaic 2.0 version, even for many of their top premium models. So this is definitely a plus and good for Sony that decided to do the obvious. When it comes to its HDMI ports, unfortunately, as with all Sony TVs, I only get two HDMI 2.1 and another two HDMI 2.0. So that's it from now. If you like this video, please subscribe and press the bell icon for future notifications update. Thanks for watching.
To change your